Hey everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a vector line work plan using OpenStreetMap.org. So I've opened up OpenStreetMap, and if you look over here in the layers you can see there are a variety of different maps. And here's the legend information, so you can see what all of the symbols and colors mean. So I have just exported this as an SVG. SVG will make an editable file in Illustrator. And I've chosen the scale 1 to 1000. The level that we're working at works well on an A3 size page. Okay, so now we're going to open up Illustrator and bring in our file that we've downloaded. And here it is, and it comes in like this. There is a few clipping masks and groups within, so you're going to have to go to release the clipping mask. I usually select all and then hit Object Clipping Mask Release. Now I'm going to go in and make a bunch of layers for the different types of line work that I want to have. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And then after I've done that, I will get rid of this mask that's sitting in front of the rest of the layers. You may find there's a few extra masks there. And then I find the text to be really distracting and unnecessary. So what I'm going to do is select one of the bits of text and then use select all of the same appearance. And there's a little shortcut up here if you want to use that instead of going to the menu every time. And then I'm going to delete any of the other elements that I find distracting or that I don't really need for this map, like these little symbols. Okay, so now that all of the distracting elements are out of the way, I can go through and select the individual colors and organize them into the different layers. So I'm just dragging them on the side of the layers panel up into their appropriate layer. You could also right click on the destination layer and say move objects to this layer. So this is the way I find to be easiest. And just double check your layers after you have distributed all the line work and make sure that everything is layered correctly, because as you work through, you'll notice there are some elements which are underneath others. So after that, I'm going to zoom out and get rid of any other elements that are unrelated to my site plan. I'm just deleting them, and then I hit Control-0 to bring my artboard back into view. And now I'm going to go through layer by layer and assign different styles. So I can create line work versions, I can give them fills. I just want something that's a little more neutral than the existing OpenMaps mapping data. So I'm going to select a bunch of line weights and shades that work for me to give a sort of neutral background. And I've just zipped forward through this part, but here is my finished map, and I will give you the Illustrator file in the download of this YouTube video description so that you can copy the same if you would like. Now, the thing that's missing from this are trees. And so to get that, what we're going to do is go into Google Earth. I'm using Google Earth Pro, but you can take a screenshot from Google Earth if you want. Just make sure that you have reset the tilt and compass so that it's actually oriented north and that it's not rotated in an incorrect way. And I am just using the save image settings here. I've gotten rid of the title and some of the extraneous information. I'm just keeping the compass and the scale just in case I need it later. All right, so I'm going to go back into Illustrator and drop this file in using the file place. And I drag it in to fit the page. And now I need to change the opacity so that I can sort of see the line work underneath. Ideally, you would lock all the rest of your layers so that you don't accidentally move something. So now I'm using Illustrator's transform tools. S is scale and R is rotate. And if you want to make sure you're doing it uniformly, you want to press Shift while you are scaling. You can also do this with handles. I had mine turned off by accident, but if you just hit Control-H or go to View, Show Edges, then you will be able to transform each individual element using the handles instead of just dragging it while you're scaling or rotating. Okay, so now that I have this relatively well oriented, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I want to make sure the major elements like the buildings and structures are in place. I can go ahead and draw some circles, and I'm just going to copy the circle by hitting Alt while I drag on it, and I'm just going to copy circles over top of all of the major trees that I can detect from this satellite image. And now if I turn off my image layer, you can see I have a pretty good Linework site plan. It's really basic, but it's good enough to go and do a site analysis so that you can annotate over top.